we got here, it was a pretty big story that pretty much everyone was fucking fuming about. The PlayStation Plus yearly price went up. So if you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber and you buy the yearly, because that is pretty much the best bang for your buck at all times, you are going to be paying more yearly. And I know that there's certain people out there that have stacked it to like 2028, 2035 or some shit like that, which like, yeah, good for you. But obviously when that runs out, you're going to have to be paying for these new prices. So first up, PlayStation Essentials, which is pretty much just like the basic thing. It went from $60 to $80, $20 increase. PlayStation Extra, which is you get a bunch of like Game Pass like games. You get a bunch of PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 games for free. It went from $100 to $135, $35 increase, obviously. And then PlayStation Premium, which is you get the PlayStation 3 cloud stuff, game trials, and some other things. It went from $120 a year already to $160, so a $40 increase. So yeah, I mean, and they said that this price adjustment will enable us to continue bringing high quality games and value added benefits to your PlayStation Plus subscription service, which everyone thought was fucking bullshit, which I also thought was bullshit because I covered this story for Fandom Wire and I kind of just looked at the games that they were offering with this announcement, and literally every single game was like within the 60s to like lower than that within like Metacritic. It was like insane. Like Saints Row 2022 was like pretty much like mid all across the board. A lot of like really negative user reviews. They also offered some other games, Black Desert, which like whoever's playing Black Desert already probably has that stuff already, and if you aren't playing Black Desert, good luck, have fun, maybe you'll get into it with that. And then also Generation Zero, which came out like years ago and it has like a 45 Metascore. So yeah, I mean, if they want to bring a higher quality games, they should have started it here. They should have like offered something like really big and really substantial to like new players, something that came out within this year that was like a big AAA PlayStation game, which like I can't really name on the top of my head of games that like really came out this year that are like super duper big. I mean, I think The Last of Us Part 1, the remake that they did, is still not on PlayStation Plus, which is like insane to me. So like really, like what are they doing other than just like getting more money from the players? I am a PlayStation Essentials guy. I only have the 1 year because I thought I was going to be playing Call of Duty a lot more, but I ended up not. So I kind of just gave them $60 for no fucking reason. But then again, I really don't see myself subscribing to any of these premium memberships for a year, me personally, unless it's for like a month or 3 months to play some of those like PlayStation 3 cloud games. I know Puppeteer's on there. That's a really sought after PlayStation 3 game, and that shit's expensive. So if I really wanted to play it, I would stream it through the cloud or whatever. But Damien, as a PlayStation Plus subscriber yourself, what do you think of these price changes?
Yeah, definitely not. No, I definitely think it's not worth it. I only had premium because, I always bought it on the really big sales they had. So it's like not too much. So I'm like, okay, sure. Like I could play Ratchet and Clank anytime I want, even though it's streaming and shit, but whatever. I thought that was kind of cool. Now I definitely will not do that. I definitely will just get the essentials and stuff because, the extra perks are cool and stuff. But I feel like there's not enough to really justify it, especially when so many PS3 and PS2 games are like streaming and shit. I'm like, why? I heard there's rumors too that they're going to bring a better PS2 emulator and they're going to bring more PS2 games. But until I actually see like solid stuff coming into like the premium lineup, I really don't think it's worth it. There's just not enough old school games on there to be worth it at all. I want them to make like a PS3 emulator that actually makes it so I could play these games on a higher resolution and like I could download them and shit. Then it would be super worth it. Then I'll be like, yeah, go ahead, go subscribe for like a month or something, play whatever PS3 games you want to play, and then like just dip or whatever. But you can't even do that because it doesn't have any of that. So yeah, I definitely think this price increase is really dumb. It's just gonna hurt them in general, and like just paying like $80 for online is insane to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's always been $60 for like ever, and like a $20 increase is huge, So yeah, I think all the anger towards Sony for this decision is definitely justified because I don't think the service is worth that much in general. Like it barely was worth it in general,
to begin
like before
with,
this price increase. Yeah. But now it's definitely not worth it. So yeah, hopefully they could go back on this or just make it more worth it. Like they could add more features to premium and extra, make it more worthwhile. Like you said, maybe bring in like more of the first party games. Game Pass is already like offering like their first, like Starfield is going to come out the same day on Game Pass as it does for everyone else who just buys it regularly. Like PlayStation should be aiming for that as well. Like if you buy premium, maybe you could get like, oh, you could play like Spider-Man day one, like for nothing besides your subscription price. But they're not doing that, so it feels very not worth it. Like at this point, Game Pass is just being the shit out of this. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's definitely not worth it.
Yeah, and the only time they really do like day one games is like indie games, which is like absurd because you guys are PlayStation. You guys know what attracts people to your console, and that's exclusives. And it's crazy to me that they haven't even yet considered like offering it like a month later, you know, sort of like offering Spider-Man 2. Obviously, everyone's going to fucking buy Spider-Man 2. You know, everyone's going to buy the game either way. But if you offer it on PlayStation Plus, like even like a month later or even day one, like obviously like that's like a huge risk for them. And they're like, oh, it's going to like damage sales or whatever, but at the same time it's like you're gonna get people hooked onto PlayStation. You're gonna get people hooked onto buying merchandise, buying the fancy PlayStation 5 controller and other things like that. Like you're gonna get people's money in other ways if you believe in your product, you know, kind of thing. Because I feel like, you know, Microsoft, you know, even though they have been taking a lot of L's recently, they very much like believe in what they create and what they do, even if it doesn't always hit the nail on the head. Like right now, like Starfield seems to be doing pretty well review wise. So I think that will get people to, you know, maybe even purchase an Xbox to play Starfield and even, you know, subscribe to Game Pass and try all of the other Microsoft games. Like PlayStation, you know, they've been very complacent because they have been, in my opinion, winning like this console war between Microsoft and Sony, just because of their sheer power of exclusives. And I think that this move is just absurd. You know, like it's crazy to me that there's some people out there that actually did pay $120 a year for PlayStation Premium when like I watch Pete Dorr look at like the library of games that they have on there, and it's like, it's fucking nothing. Like honestly, like it is not a lot, especially if you play like games when they come out. Like, you know, him for example, like he didn't play like the Spider-Man games or like Ghost of Tsushima. So like obviously like that sort of package is like, you know, attractive to him because, you know, he's able to play these games without having to go out and buy it physically, and, you know, he could just download it right then and there. But like if you're someone that plays these games regularly, you know, especially when these games do come onto PlayStation Plus, it's like years later, it's like not even worth it, you know? So if PlayStation are able to like pick up their slack and actually make PlayStation Plus better and more attractive to people to actually pay this extra $20 to $40 price increase, and it's like, okay, fine. But as of right now, especially with the games that they announced for September for PlayStation Plus, it's like, this shit's a joke.
Yeah, I agree. Like, again, when they made premium, they should have like went off the bat and like put in like a bunch of great classic games, and for PS Extra they should have added like a way more like of the newer games, and as new games came out they should have put them on the service as well. Like it seems really easy, especially compared to, you know, Game Pass, where it's just a like a better value than anything they could do right now. But they're not, so they're just making it like more expensive for no reason. Again, if this shit had like all the Ratchet Clank games downloadable, like then I'll be like, yeah, maybe it's worth it. But like it's not. Like they have like no, if you want to play Siphon Filter, like go ahead, I guess. But like it's not really worth it for anyone right now. And the only time I actually recommend buying PS Plus is if it's on sale during like the summer months. That's usually when it goes on sale for a big discount. Besides that, just don't. I don't think it's worth it. It
is just crazy to me that PlayStation players now have to pay $80 a year just to play online.
Yeah, that's insane. That's like I couldn't understand the other models because it's like those are like really optional. But being the essential being $80 is insane to me. That's crazy.
That's pretty much the price of a new game, and like you know, it is still cheaper than you buying it monthly or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, man, like it's $79.99. That is like absurd. So
yeah.
You know, we'll see what happens with this PlayStation Plus thing, because we've been following the service throughout these episodes. You know, we followed them when they introduced Extra and Premium to their all new PlayStation Plus program, and you know, it's been a year since that's been out, and honestly, it has not been doing much other than add new games slowly and whatnot. You know, they got Sly Cooper on there, but that's not enough for me to actually subscribe to it.
No,
personally.
they got that Bentley's hack pack.
But moving on from there.